Okay, let's have a look at BitTorrent tokens. So the second video I've made of the day, because it's been quite a day. We've had a massive collapse in price with Bitcoin, and in my book I think it's still got a little way to go. I think we're going to find ourselves going up and down with Bitcoin, but on an incremental kind of consolidation pattern now for a week or maybe two, which should level out a lot of the coins' prices and then give them a chance to build back up again. So what we're doing here now, we're having a look at what happened with the BitTorrent token. So BitTorrent token is one of my favourite coins to look at, and it's one of the coins I'm more heavily invested in. And what we're looking at here is the Satoshi level. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just stand back a second, because the Satoshi level for BitTorrent token is so low that I mean it's a good chart to look at, and we'll go back to it. But let's have a look at where we are with the tether value. So we found a significant bounce here, which I've taken a lot of heat from some, well, it's only from one bloke actually on YouTube. He says I always get it wrong, and to be honest with you, I don't think many people can get it right all the time. I certainly don't, I can tell you that. But one thing I did say is that if it falls down, it's not going to go any lower than 0.00115, which is where we found our support. So I popped this little support level in here just for us to see. We tested it twice, and we're actually finding a significant bounce from it now. Being rejected at the top of the Bollinger Band here, I expect our resistance now to be this moving average, which is around this level here. When we're bouncing up, we've got to make it above this area again for us to start building upon any kind of significant retracement back to this sort of little top that we had there. So let's have a look at the Satoshi level. Okay, so the Satoshi level, look, each one of these is one Satoshi. Okay, we're very low on our Satoshi values with BitTorrent token. Lowest point here is at 9 Satoshis, very low, very low, and all-time low. Yeah, it's about where we are now. The reason the price isn't as different is because our Satoshi level has risen with Bitcoin. So the tether value is more than it was, even though the Satoshi level is at its all-time low. So it's reasonable to assume that we shouldn't really fall any further down than where we are right here. This is 9 Satoshis. Anything can happen, obviously, and every Satoshi level that we fall down further than this is bigger than a 10% move. Clearly. The closer that we get, further down we go. I mean, it's 10% each time, more than 10%, obviously. And again, every time we make a move above here, it'll be 10% from here. We're at 12 now, so we're going to be moving up. As far as our Satoshi levels are concerned, this will be 8 Satoshis, 7 Satoshis, blah blah blah. You see where I'm coming from? So this is how it's going to go. So what we're looking at now is this big fat white line, 200 EMA on the Satoshi chart. This looks to me like it wants to level out a little. It's let's have a little look a bit closer. I mean, it has leveled out here, which is great news for us, because what we really need for this to do is this dictates a trend, okay? And so clearly the trend was down. We need this trend to bend up and create another trend like this. When the trend bends, we move up with it, and we also use it as a support, and we can see that support clearly also on the US dollar, bouncing each time. When we go beneath it, it often turns to resistance. It failed to be resistance this time, but we trended alongside it. But if we look at the Satoshi value, it makes a little more sense. We trend above it, we use it as support, we get beneath it, it turns to resistance. It's currently resistance. What we need for this to do is change its direction, bend to the up, and then become a support for us, and then we should be looking at moves again like this. Now everything is generally dictated in one way or another by Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is not very happy at the moment. It's having a huge hangover from this massive move that it made towards 14,000, and now it's suffering. Okay, I said it earlier, I do expect it to suffer a little longer. You're going to have people buying on the dips every single time, but it's certainly not something I'm interested in doing. I don't think this area is going to hold. Over the next few days we're going to see moves up and down, but I do expect us to come back down to this area here, which is beneath 10,000. I think 9,500 or just above It will break 10,000. I'm pretty sure it'll break 10,000. Once it breaks 10,000, what's that going to do for BitTorrent token? It will bring us down in the interim, but I think what will then start to happen as our Satoshi level rises, we will then inevitably turn this into a support once the trend reverses, and then whether we move up with Bitcoin, we seem to do that a lot of the time with BitTorrent token. We seem to be moved up with it and moved down with it. We are more resilient now to its downsides, and hopefully we'll be more inclined to move up with Bitcoin, so long as Bitcoin doesn't do what it has been doing recently and taking all the money out of the alts in order to feed its momentum. Anyway, I will leave it with you there, and I hope you have a nice evening, and stay tuned for more. Take it easy. Goodbye.